Hi, I'm back with another Copic marker coloring tutorial. This one of Rey from the new Star Wars movie. And I really loved the movie, especially Rey. I thought Rey's character was just really awesome and relatable. I'm starting right in with the skin tones on her face. I like to go around the edges first, and also in the areas where it's going to be shaded on the far side of her face and under the nose. And I'm building up kind of the layers of the ink so that even with just one shade you can build up a lot of shade and light. The more you go over an area with the ink, the more ink seeps into that area and the more pigmented it will be, so it'll look darker than areas where you just go over it real lightly. So I like to start on the outside edges of things and the areas where there will be shadow, and then work inward towards where it's going to be lighter. Now I'm coming in with my E11. I'm adding shadow under the neck there and where the clothes cast shadow onto the skin. And I don't worry too much about making those shadows real blended, because I'm going to come back later and do that. So the brow line and the cheekbones always need good shadow there, kind of just to define the planes of the face and the curve of the cheeks around the mouth. Then I'm just deepening some of these shadows to make them stronger. And where I want it even darker, I'm adding just a little bit of E13. Especially under the chin, where there's always strong shadow under the chin. And closest on the arms, closest to the body, and under the clothes. And then I'm blending that all back in with E00 again. Now I'm adding the blush, which is, I think I'm using E93 and then a little E95 to deepen that. And I blend it all in with the E00 again. It looks really dark there, but you'll notice that once it dries, the pink starts to come through a little more. Moving on to the clothes, I'm using warm grays for her clothes, which are kind of a dusty, grungy, off-white color. Look like white that the desert has really taken a toll on. Rey was a fun one to color because I got to use my E and all my neutral colors, lots of grays and lots of tans and browns. Pretty much exclusively, I didn't use any other tones for her, all E's and then grays. For her clothes, I started with the darkest color, which I pulled into where the folds of the fabric, and then I went to my medium gray to do general shadows, and lastly blended it all in with the lightest gray tone there, the warm gray. A little brown for the belt down there. Here I'm using E93 and 95 and then an E04 to give color and depth to her lips. Wanted them to be neutral. She doesn't wear a lot of makeup, which I loved. She had a lot of just fresh-faced beauty. And her hair is pretty dark brown, but even dark colors, I always like to start out with a really light shade first, because that's where the shine is going to be. So I colored the light shade just around the crown of her head, where the light hits the hair. And now I'm using a more medium shade to color all of it in. But I'm leaving that light shade up on top there. Now I'm coming in and adding more depth and shadows with a third darker brown. And I'm even using a fourth here just to deepen it even further. The darker something is, the more shades I like to use to get a really good kind of definition, and to keep it from all being too dark. Coloring those wisps of hair in her eyes and eyebrows. I always like to give a little color of the background just a little bit, to give it a little bit of depth. For the background, I'm actually using cool grays. I like to leave a little edge around my characters, just to kind of make them pop a little bit. We've got a cool gray 02 right here. I'm going to come in with the cool 04, just to add a little depth and make it a little darker in some areas. And now I'm coming in with the, I think I got the cool gray 2 again here. I decided I wanted to pull that background color out away from her a little bit further. And lastly, I come back with the cool 0, just to kind of blend it all outward and into the paper. And this is why I love tonal paper so much, is now I'm using my white colored pencil just to add highlights on the skin. I'm just coloring really lightly in these areas. And even just a little bit gives it such a nice pop of color. And now I'm going around her body with a heavier, thicker outline of white. This helps to cover up any, there were some spots that bled outside of my lines, and this covers those up and also makes the character pop. And lastly, I come in with my white gel pen, which just gives those little highlights. And she's all finished. Thanks for watching.